He discovered oxygen before anyone else alive. He found chlorine. He isolated manganese, barium, molybdenum, tungsten. Any one of these would have made a man immortal. And yet, when he died alone at 43, the world had already given his discoveries to other men. This is the story of the most unlucky genius in the history of science. His habit of investigation was simple, and it was lethal. Whenever Scheele found a new substance, he did the one thing no chemist should ever do. He smelled it, and then he tasted it. Carl Wilhelm Scheele was born in 1742 in Stralsund, then ruled by Sweden. He was not rich. He was not connected. At 14, he was sent to be an apprentice in an apothecary shop in Gothenburg. In the 18th century, the apothecary was a strange place. Half pharmacy, half laboratory, and still faintly haunted by the old dream of the alchemists. That matter could be coaxed, purified, transformed. Scheele worked through the night. While the city slept, he ran experiments by candlelight, teaching himself the new chemistry from borrowed books. He had no university. He had no patron. He had only the bench in front of him and a relentless, almost reckless curiosity. And that curiosity had a method to it. To Scheele, a substance was not truly known until he had tested it against every sense he possessed. Its color, its smell, and its taste. We have to understand how dangerous this was. He worked with arsenic, with mercury, with acids that could strip flesh, with gases that could stop a heart. There were no fume hoods, no warnings, no safety data, only a man and the unknown meeting at the tip of his tongue. It would eventually kill him. But first, it would let him discover more of the elements of the universe than almost anyone who has ever lived. Sometime around 1771, in a cold laboratory in Sweden, Scheele did something extraordinary. By heating compounds and capturing what escaped, he produced a gas that made a dying flame leap violently back to life. He called it fire air. We call it oxygen. Scheele had isolated the gas that every breathing thing on Earth depends on, and he understood correctly what it did to flame and to life. He wrote it down. He prepared a book describing it. And here the tragedy of Carl Scheele truly begins. His manuscript sat with a printer for years, delayed and neglected. In the meantime, an Englishman named Joseph Priestley performed his own experiment, published immediately in 1774, and announced the discovery of oxygen to the world. And then a Frenchman, Antoine Lavoisier, took the gas, named it oxygen, and built the entire modern theory of chemistry upon it. Lavoisier became immortal. Priestley is in the textbooks. And Scheele, who got there first, became a footnote. It was not the only time. Scheele discovered chlorine, credited later to another. He found a way to make phosphorus efficiently. He identified the acids of dozens of substances. He even discovered a brilliant green pigment that would go on to color the wallpaper of an entire century and quietly poison it. Again and again, Carl Scheele opened a door and watched someone else walk through it into history. He never seemed bitter. He simply went back to the bench and reached for the next unknown thing and tasted it. By his early 40s, Scheele was finally modestly secure. He had his own pharmacy in the small town of Köping. He was respected by the few who understood what he had done. He could have slowed down. He did not. His health was failing. Years of handling and tasting arsenic, mercury, lead, hydrofluoric acid, and the gas we now call hydrogen cyanide had done their work on his body. The very habit that fueled his genius was dissolving him from the inside. There is a detail here that captures the whole man. Among the substances Scheele worked with was hydrocyanic acid, one of the deadliest poisons known. He described its taste. He recorded that it was weak and sweet and left an odd sensation in the mouth. Read that again. He documented the flavor of one of the most lethal compounds on Earth by putting it in his mouth and surviving long enough to write it down. In the spring of 1786, Carl Wilhelm Scheele took to his bed. Knowing he was dying, he is said to have arranged his affairs with the same quiet order he brought to the bench. He married days before the end, so that his housekeeper would inherit his pharmacy and not be left destitute. He died on the 21st of May, 1786. He was 43 years old. The cause was almost certainly the slow accumulation of the very elements he had spent his life pulling out of the dark. History gave oxygen to Lavoisier and Priestley. It gave other discoveries to other names. For 2 centuries, Carl Scheele was remembered, when he was remembered at all, as a kind of cosmic accident. The man whose luck was so bad that historians coined a phrase for it: Scheele's bad luck. The curse of discovering things just slightly too early or too quietly to be believed. But here is the truth: the credits could never erase. The discovery does not belong to whoever shouts it loudest. It belongs to whoever first reaches into the unknown and brings something back. By that measure, this lonely, self-poisoning apothecary in a freezing Swedish town touched more of the building blocks of reality than almost any human being who has ever lived. He asked the universe what it was made of, and when it would not answer, he tasted it until it did. The world forgot his name. The world should not have. If you believe the people who reach first into the dark deserve to be remembered, subscribe and stay with the Accidental Chemist, because next time, a single mistake doesn't cost one man his life. It changes the world for everyone.